Welcome to everyone. Myself, Deepak Verma, welcoming you in this tutorial. This is the second part of biotechnology and human welfare series. Probably this is the last series and maybe last video. And so here I will discuss about plant biotechnology and food, beverage, and medicine biotechnology. So first we start with the plant, then we comes to the food and beverage, and the last is the medicinal one. So start with the plant one. So as we know, globally, agriculture and food production are committed to produce in a sustainable way sufficient, healthful, and safe food for the world population. Demographers who had been until quite recently forecasting a steady exponentially rise in the world population have now had to make a major readjustment and now estimate world population packing at 10 billion by 2050 or 60. World population growth in percentage terms had almost stopped by 1960 and started to decrease by 1970s. World population is still growing but adding a smaller number each year. In many parts of the developing countries, childbirths have decreased by up to the 50% by greater awareness of the necessity of using modern methods of birth control. To successfully feed 10 billion people with requiring 30% or more calories than presently produced by world agriculture, and indeed much more if any increasing proportion of the 10 billion will want to eat meat more than once a month. So how this is actually rectify this? So plant biotechnology comes here. Plant biotechnology is by the unique process of photosynthesis, plants are able to fix carbon dioxide into chemical energy using the physical energy of sunlight. This flow of energy from the sunlight through plant photosynthesis is at the heart of the importance of plant in the world economics. Plants in their Maryland from the primary producers in almost all ecosystems, and as a result most life on the planet depends for its very existence upon plant. Plants are the basic source of food for human race, and not only by correct management of plant agriculture can be present and future population of the world survive. Surprisingly, a relatively few plant species have been brought into the agriculture practice. While there are at least 300,000 known plant species, only a few hundreds, but especially wheat, maize and rice have had any significant impact on the agriculture. Manipulating the genetic constitution of the plant and then selecting the characteristics that are best studied to human needs has prevailed throughout the history of the agriculture. So in the highly technological driven world that we now live in, the links between plants and people are easily overlooked. See here in this figure, since early times humans have sought to improve the quality and productivity of agriculturally important plants. This was done by selection and traditional breeding procedure of natural mutation, but it has been remarkably successful commitment as witnessed by the high quality of present food plants such as maize, rice, wheat, potato, etc., all far removed from their ancestral beginnings. However, in the mid-1950s, it has become possible to increase the rate of plant mutation by artificial means, in particular eradication. Nowadays, plant scientists use thermal neutrons, X-rays or ethylene methane sulfate that can damage DNA to generate artificial mutation in crop plants, especially for cereals. In this interviewing to the note that a drastically DNA damage has required no safety test and has not generated any protest. The arrival of genetic manipulation in 1983 clearly proved to a major predictable alternative to an unpredictable mutation breeding system. This indeed for a random process, it was now possible to introduce a desired trait that was required the genetically modified that we call GM crops plants had now arrived. The well orchestrated opposition to this safer approach will be discussed here. So from this picture actually shows the scheme for illustrating the production and the use of plant. So the rate of genetic improvement has been historically restricted by the number of suitable genes available and ability to form the propagate the improved strains. However, by the nature of modern genomics, more useful genes from plants and other sources are now become available. Together with the development of method transforming and then expressing those genes in appropriate crop strains, a major challenge will be try and understand how to control the way genes act in correct to produce crop traits of value to farmers, processor and consumers. So this is the main thing that we cover up in this topic, the plant biotechnology. So this is started from this micropropagation, and generally we called it clonal propagation. So in this topic we will cover this topic, clonal propagation, plant genetic engineering, improved resistance to specific herbicides, improved resistance to insect pest and microbial disease, then improved post-harvested characteristics, and the last is the transgenic and pharmaceutical crops. So first thing first, then first is the clonal propagation. So in as early as 1939, it had become possible to isolate a small number of cells from certain plants and keep them alive indefinitely in artificial cultivation, that is plant tissue culture. The cultivation of these tissues required the presence of plant hormone, which allowed the cells to propagate in unorganized manner, resulting in amorphous mass of cells, that is callus. Advances were soon made in cultivation techniques, achieving rapid growth rate in chemically defined media. So these individuals of groups of cells were treated like microbial suspension and were able to grow under aerated and shaken condition, initially in flask but subsequently in large traditional bioreactors. So by this method, it is possible to produce important secondary metabolites with potential commercial value, which is shown in here in this table, the right side one. See, vinblastine, vincristine for leukemia and so on. These compounds are for the use and what is their the value, commercial value. So while it has been possible to produce many secondary metabolites using plant cell culture, the only two secondary metabolites, seconin and paclitaxel we call it in general, have thus far been produced by a commercial scale. It has been difficult to achieve even moderate yields of most targeted compound. So actually this plant culture was to achieve complete reversal of process, causing to through a developmental program from individual plant cell tissues to organs to finally entire plants. This is the way it has become possible to clone plant cell. Rapid large-scale clonal propagation of many plant species, including trees, is now feasible. Small tissues explant of many species can be aseptically removed from the parent plant and artificial maintained in increased in number by suitable control of the medium. The process can be rapid and produce high quality uniform plant. Outstanding example of this technology have been the recent successful cloning of oil, palm and coffee plant from the callus tissues producing unlimited number of stable types. This area of micropropagation is not only allow rapid propagation of mass production of identical clones of plant species but also has these uses such as elimination of virus and other pathogens, storage of essential germplasm instead of conventional seeds, the embryo rescue, and the last is the production of haploid from the anther and ovary culture. So gametoclone variants useful for this is actually useful for cereals. So now it is now possible to take plant cells and subjected them to the battery of manipulating techniques long practiced in the industrial microbiology, for example, mutation, strain selection and process development. Thus, the genetic diversity of plant may be altered without the normal sexual process of fertilization by production of haploid, triploid or tetraploid cell, by the use of protoplast fusion between different species and even genera, and by the transformation into the cells of another. The technique of recombinant DNA technology is now practically available to the plant technologist. See in this figure, this plant DNA, this DNA technology. With the tissue culture of callus or large structures, regeneration mainly leads to the uniform of plant. In contrast, regeneration from the single plant cells or protoplast can often be accompanied by the minor and extensive challenge in the final plant phenotype. This has been termed as sumo-clonal variation and is widely used as a mean of crop improvement, in particular with the respect to the yield of the disease resistance. See in this figure you can see also this disease resistance thing. Now we move to the plant genetic engineering. The first practical system for genetically manipulating plants occurred in 1983 using the ability of the bacterium Agrobacterium tumefaciens to transfer part of its TI, tumor-inducing plasmid, into the host genome. This Agrobacterium tumefaciens is a natural soil-borne plant pathogen that is able to generate tumorous growth in plants. So this bacterial cells contain a large plasmid and all this thing I have described earlier in my video. So here this transformation can be identified by the selection method. Adult plant reconstitute from the transfected cells and the new genetic material transmitted as Mendelian trait. Nowadays TI plasmid derived vector is used routinely in laboratories throughout the world for transforming dicotyledons crop plants. This method actually originally unsuitable for most of the monocotyledon crops. So successful gene transfer into the monocotyledon crops plant was first achieved by biolistic or the particle gun, which was used to bombardment plant cell with the DNA gene coated particles. In this way, microprojectile penetrates the cell wall and derived the DNA into the nucleus. The intact cell could be regenerated into the whole plant. So other vectorless transmission method include number one is the electroporation. There are two methods actually. One is electroporation and another is the aqueous silicon carbide method. So in electroporation, where the cells are placed in a solution of transgenes, a strong electric field is then applied that the effect of permeability of that membrane surrounding each cell and allowed the penetration of the transgene. And the next is an aqueous solution of the transgene and fine crystals of silicon carbide is shaken together, and the tiny puncturing of the cell membrane allow transgene entry. In each case of proportion of transgene will be inserted into the host, into the cell's DNA. So by these methods, it is now possible to introduce advantageous new traits into almost any plant species, and most agricultural plants are many tree species have been manipulated. So what are the certain main goal for the application of genetic engineering into the plant agriculture? So in essence of genetic engineering release plant breeder from two major constraints: limits imposed by the interspecies barrier, and the next is the lack of precision inherent in traditional breeding method. Presently, genetic engineering method allow the introduction of single gene characteristic into the plant cell, and this later should extend it to multiple gene and indeed whole biochemical pathway. The main introduced improvement in commercial application includes improved resistance to specific herbicide, which I come to this later, not later, next slide. So before we move to resistance to specific herbicide and all things, here this slide actually showing the importance crop characteristics which are undergoing genetic modifications. So here the 12 thing I have mentioned. I'm not going to read these. Just you can note it down or you can read it yourself. So that I can drink water. Okay. So now we move to the next. Now we come to the improvements. So first, herbicide. The killing of plant weed species by the application of selective herbicide gives a growth advantage of commercial crop plants. Such compounds have been designed to disturb the growth of certain weed species without affecting the particular crop plants. The annual global herbicide market is in excess of $6 billion. However, there is an increasing opposition to the continuous use of such chemical compounds and environments and human health consideration. Herbicide tolerant crop plants have now been produced by genetically engineering genes resistance to specific herbicide. This has been seen a way of producing more effective, less costly and more environmentally compatible weed control. Now we move to the improved resistance to insect pest and the microbial disease. So historically, the use of chemical pesticide has led to dramatically improvement in production level for agriculture and forestry. There continued widespread use of dominant reason why fewer people can now produce more food at a less cost than previously. So, biological pest control has not proved to be effective or economical as chemical control. Problems associated with the use of biocontrol to manage pests problem include slow, delay or inadequate activity, a restricted pest control spectrum, inconsistent activity across different environments, as high cost involved in the production of and processing the biological control agent, the BCA. So the most successful BCA, that biological control agent I told you earlier is Bacillus thuringiensis, a spore-forming bacterium containing crystalline protein inclusions. The proteins are highly toxic to insect pests but specific in their activity. They have been widely used for over 30 years against caterpillar pest. The commercial foliage application of this biopesticide is usually as formulation of spores and crystalline inclusions of disrupted this bacillus, and they are applied 10 to 15 grams per acre, about 10 to power 20 molecules per acre. This Bacillus thuringiensis toxin have been considerable world market. Now we move to this improved post-harvested characteristics. So losing loss of actually lose during the storage and transport of some crops can be high as 40% in the developed country, and a high as 80% in our countries such as this developing one. While a great deal of loss will be due to disease or pest or with the soft fruit and vegetable, they can be heated and cold damage, over ripening, off flavors and odors. Most of these physiological changes result from endogenous enzyme activity. Can such activity can be genetically stopped or slowed down? In the tomato, the enzyme galactourinase breaks down cell wall, continuing leading to the softening of the fruit ripening. This process is independent of color development. In normal condition, if the tomato is left to ripen on the vine and develop full color, the softening process is also occurring, thus creating easily destroy and damage fruit on shipment. So by inhibiting this polygalactourinase enzyme by antisense gene, tomato can remain on vine until mature and transported in a firm solid state. The Flavor Saver GM tomato has been engineered this by Celgene in the US is improved flavor and capability and is now marketed in the US. So genetic manipulation of ornamental plants and floriculture involvement flower and leaf color, abundance of flavors, perfumes are the shape are now major targets of the decorative plant industries, especially in Germany, Australia and US. Now we move to this transgenic crops. So there are now over 20 countries worldwide planting transgenic crops with soybean, cotton, maize, canola and many types. Whereas herbicides tolerance and improved resistance to insect pest and microbial disease have been major application. There is now enhanced level of activity in developed countries for the approval for product quality. In US, by far the dominant growth of GM crops, followed by Argentina and Brazil, Canada and China, and more recently Paraguay and India. There is strong indicator that major expansion in GM crops areas are yet to come, particularly in Asia, Latin America and the part of Africa. Worldwide, between 2000 and 2005, there was a doubling of land devoted to GM crops, and also the value of these crops were estimated in the excess of $50 billion US. Well over 60 countries are now involved with the GM plant research and development. So these are the things have to Actually, unfortunately, the European Union is continues to support the restrictive policy on GM crops, and the consequences there have been steady exodus on the valuable scientists to other countries. It is only to hope that European countries will eventually support the orderly regulatory framework harmonized with the rest of the world. While the current GM crops are sustainability benefiting the production cost reduction to the farmer, novel GM crops will direct consumer benefit now appearing or advanced advanced stages of the development. I want to show you this table where mentioned many of the plants and what are their modification and what are their advantages mentioned here. So this table is especially special interest and nutritional enhance of food, vitamin, enriched cereals, vegetables and fruits, low calorie sugars, healthy oils and the other things. See, you have, I think I have to give you time so you can read this. Okay, now little introduction of this pharmaceutical crops. I have written, but I have never. So, pharmaceutical recombinant protein production by means of transgenic animal bacteria and yeast cells has been demonstrated and commercially the success by this technological approach. Production method for complex and currently no fast enough to meet the existing demand. As a result, many companies worldwide have been exploring the possible use of whole plant as a production vehicle for recombinant proteins on the basis that the word is higher yield, less expense and ultimate production in the product price. Production of such plant made proteins is now referred as a farming. There are three stages of farming process: identify and particular gene that codes for a specific desired pharmaceutically active protein, isolated the gene and insert into the genetic framework of chosen crop plant. The next is the genetically engineering plant are grown. That plant act as a mini factory synthesizing the pharmaceutical protein. And the last step is that the crop is harvested and the protein extracted, purified and subjected to normal commercialized distribution. In some cases, it has been proposed that plant material could be consumed directly. So these are the things. Now we move to this food and beverage technology. Biotechnology has a long history of practice in food production and processing and can be viewed in continuing involving both traditional breeding techniques and the latest technique based on the molecular biology. So the new biotechnology techniques will especially create possibility of rapidly improving the quality and quantity of food available. Furthermore, the application of these techniques will not result in food that is inherently less safe than the production of conventional system. The application of new biotechnology to produce foods and food ingredients has become a subject of considerably public interest as consumer public policy and scientific levels. Negative image of GM products in large segment of the population, especially in Europe and part of USA, continue to the prevalence. Food biotechnology is a concern with the integration of both modern biological knowledge and the techniques and currently bioengineering principle in food processing and prevention. This will achieve an evaluation of scientific and technological basis of industrial food processing and the preservation to the presently achieved in other advanced biotechnological industry such as antibiotic production. In in the next decades we will witness the optimal integration of the production of agricultural material, their processing into the food and subsequent utilization. Food science and food technology have been mediators between production and the consumption. So the present day developed food market, the question will what do consumer desire with respect to the physiological need as well their social, cultural and religious need. Truly the reversion of the classical bottom of paradigm. So the food and beverage industry are very different from the pharmaceutical industry. Their products are cost and marketing driven rather than technological driven. Research and development is most of the food and beverage industries. Usually less than 1% of the sales is very process oriented and enjoys little patent protection. Since most food and drink products are high volume, low cost item, it is inevitable that market research has become more significant than basic research. Some products such as organic acid, amino acids and gums now increasingly used by foods and drink industry are in the middle price range, while only a few highly high priced products will be a viable future, such as sweetener and flavoring. The food and see I have to yeah see right. The food and beverage industries are high in terms of turnover and the labor employed and are very diverse, ranging from the small individual producers to giant multinationals. Supplying food to consumers on a global scale is a major task which engages not only the politics but must involve sound scientific knowledge, provide a multitude of scientific discipline. The impact of biotechnology on the food and beverage industries can be anticipated in the two directions. One is agronomical, next is the non-agronomical. So in agronomic, increased plant and animal yield, extended growth range and environments from which the farms will mainly benefit. While in non-agronomic is improving plants and microorganisms to provide benefits to the food producer, retailers or the consumers. Now see this non-agronomical, see this is a biotechnology that all levels of the food chain. So in here this is the food chain, the left side one and the right side one, the potential biotechnological, what is the impact, biotechnological impact. So fermented food and beverage derived from the plant and animal materials are an accepted and essential part of the diet in almost all parts of the world, involving wide diversity of the raw material as substrate using technology from the most primitive to the most advanced and achieving an astounding range of sensory and textural qualities in the final product. Fermented foods including bread, cheese, yogurt, soya sauce, stamps, mushrooms, etc. While fermented beverages include alcoholic beer, wine, shake, brandy, whiskey, and non-alcoholic tea, coffee, coca. As I shown in this upper one table, the table 10.2, which while most of these fermented remain at the level of village or household art, others have achieved massively commercial application and play a significant part of the most of the nation economics. Such fermentation have been remain classified as indigenous, native or country or culture, and most of developed before the recorded history. However, the very root of the modern biotechnology are the found in these traditional fermentation. How this fermentation first came about the question and cannot be completely answered. Now we discuss about this production of classes fermented foods and geographical region. See, for most of these fermentations are produced were developed in Ignorance of the role of microorganisms. The original artisans unwittingly uncontrolled and directed microbial activity by pure empirical method but most of the achieved consistent end product. The Egyptians, Sumerians and the Babylon produces alcoholic beverage from barley, sauerkraut, bread and from rye occurred in Europe in 800 BC, while accounts for fermented dairy products are found in early Sanskrit and Christian works. It is only in relatively recent time that microbial nature of most of the fermentation has been recognized, and while some fermentation have been shown to have a relatively simple microbiology, other process of complexity of microbial invention that may be never be fully unrevealed. So fermented foods can be divided into the 9 groups: beverage, cereal products, dairy products, fish and fruit and vegetable products, legumes, meat products, starch crop products, and miscellaneous products. So the relative importance of these fermentations in geographical areas is shown in this below table. These fermentation products represent the large financial sector of all biotechnologies and represent a major aspect of the gross national product of developed nation. Almost 90% of the revenue from the biotechnology come from the food and beverage sectors. Too often, we learn modern biotechnology inventions and overlook the continued presence of the long-standing traditional biotechnology-based industry. However, in the most of all sectors of traditional fermentation, new biotechnologies become increasingly exploited. Some of these fermentations will examine in here. So, what are these? So, these are number one is alcoholic beverage. So, this occurs throughout the world in many different form and taste. The types of beverage produced in any particular region or country almost entirely reflect the crop grown. Thus, the regions of Europe, cooler regions of the Europe, Scandinavia, Poland and Russia will produce the consumes beers and largely from the barley, while the southern warmer climate of Spain, Greece and Italy and France will have much higher production of consumption of wine derived from the grapes. Alcoholic beverage and potable spirit industrial worldwide represent one of the most economically stable sectors in modern day commerce. Denmark demands on the economics and need to increase the conventional efficiency of productivity are the large driving force in the search for new and improved technologies. The main objective to produce a controlled quality of alcohol in the liquid to be harvested after the fermentation. So next is the wine. So historically, wine is a European drink, and although other part of the world such as USA, Australia and South Africa are now large producers, France, Italy, Germany still produces over half of the total world output of approximately 10 to power 10 liters annually. Historically, the Greeks and Romans preferred to wine beer, and with the spread of Christianity across Europe, wine was used as a symbol of blood of Christ. So modern scientific research now reports that view of modern wine consumption is associated with the lower coronary heart disease mortality. And beers next is the earliest recorded brewing was increased in the cuneiform characters on the clay tablet of the Sumeria, present day in Iraq, at least 6,000 years ago. However, it is quite possible to primitive form of brewing exists many thousand years after. Beer can be defined as a drink obtained by the alcoholic fermentation of an aqueous extract of germinated cereal with addition of hops. Beer is a relatively poor medium of bacterial growth, largely due to its low pH. Contents of antiseptics such as carbon dioxide, alcohol, hop extract, and its low temperature of storage. Pathogens cannot live in beer, thus making it safer to drink. than water in many countries. Because of its complex biochemical content, there is almost impossible to be analyzed. Now the next is the spirit. So spirit referred any volatile inflammable liquid sustained by the distillation whatever the raw material. Spirit for human consumptions or potable spirit are the distilled of alcoholic liquids, an alcohol in which uh, has been formed the fermentation sugars derived from the grape juice, sugar cane, or from the saccharide material such as specially prepared cereals or malted barley. Next is the dairy product. So, dairy product, the manufacturers of cultured dairy products represent the second most important fermentation, accounting for over 20% of fermented food drinks worldwide. The origin of the development of the dairy products such as fermented milk, butter and cheese is lost in inequity. Such fermentation are related to area with high number of lactating animals, cow, goat and sheep, and Europe is the major worldwide area of production. Worldwide, fermented dairy products accounting for about 10% of the fermented food production. It is now known that these fermentation results largely from the activity of a group of bacteria called lactic acid bacteria. Fermentation by lactic acid bacteria result in the preservation and transformation of the milk has been unknowingly for thousands of years. In the past, these fermentation arose directly from the natural occurrence of lactic acid bacteria, but gradually it is recognized that the portion of previously success ferment when added to the milk gave better results. So now this microorganism as food. So in agriculturalists and nutritionists were becoming concerned that in the near future traditional source of protein such as cattle, pigs and poultry would not be adequate for the increasing world demand. So in essence they investigate a global shortage of protein food resulting in excessive protein malnutrition as being seen in some developing countries with the childhood disease of kwashiorkor and marasmus. As a result, several international organizations including the WHO and FAO and UNICEF considered how this protein deficiency could be elevated, and one of the many proposals was examined to possible to microbial derived protein as a food supplement or an animal feed sources to substitute protein rich cereals. So this is single cell protein SCP. So prior to the dramatic escalation of oil prices, the oil producing nations in 1970 there was a wide range of SCP fermentation product being developed under saying gas oil, methanol, ethanol, methane or normal alkane. Even at the time of wisdom of using high energy potential compound for food production was being questioned by many scientists. How right they were. So methane as a SCP sources was extremely researched, but there was too many technical difficulties to warrant this acceleration. The use of N-alkylations as a substrate for SCP was studied to many countries, but several established processes ceased operations because the suspended health hazards resulting from the presence of carcinogens within the SCP. So for many years, methanol offered great economics SCP. A large-scale fermentation plant is producing the methanol utilizing bacteria was constructed by ICU UK. The SCP named as Protein was developed to the use of exclusive for animal feeding. This plant was the only process of kind the Western world but could not operate economically at then currently methanol prices and went gone operation. So SCP actually this from the waste organic materials come from. The material that make up the waste organic should normally be recycled back to the ecosystem. Carbohydrate such as carbohydrate, waste sugar, starch, whey, molasses, these are the organic materials. So it was supposed that many of these waste could be transformed into the edible protein for animal and possibly human consumptions. So now we move to our last topic, this biotechnology and medicine. So nowadays in industrialized societies, infectious diseases are no longer two main threats of life, but rather it's chronic diseases such as cancer, cardiovascular, Alzheimer, that plague for the increasing aging population. Much of the increased lifespan achieving in last 50 years has not prolonged youth but extended today. So this chronic diseases will most probably not have a single identified genetic disease caused by rather arise from the complex cascading series of biological events interring with environmental factors. As increased by Edward Global, a former professor of immunology, the era of biology of especially may be rapidly drawing close. So we are entering in the era of biotechnology of complexity. So consequently, biotechnology will increasingly as be directed the maintaining normal human functions and high level of personal health. So the impact of pharmaceutical on human healthcare is the area where the biotechnology inventions are likely to have a earliest commercial realization. The long-standing awareness within the health-related industries of biological and biochemical innovation has led to these industries being heavily involved in the biotechnological research, particularly in molecular biology. Furthermore, since health-related products are generally high value, the financial return warrants extensive research estimated. Indeed, the major of new biotechnology invested over the last 50 years has been healthcare and especially in the discovery of new drugs. However, the considerable time required to develop a modern pharmaceutical products must not be underestimated. And long period of toxicological testing are necessary before the national regulatory bodies will grant approval for the marketing. The cost of achieving this approval can be many millions of the pounds, and many products must have a high sales potential to warrant this investment. Many potential worthwhile products will not appear on the market because it is not financially interested in the producing companies meet such vast cost of gaining approval. So as seen in here, this figure, this is showing this biotechnological drug discovery pathway. So the process starts with the genomics driven discovery of a target gene and hence protein, and with the generation of a diverse set of chemicals from the combinational libraries or from collections of chemical accumulated within a company. The chemicals are assayed for their ability to block or sometimes enhance to target protein section. So next figure here, this next figure is showing this drug developmental pathway. So this the compound which I shown the last figure, the candidate drug, this is formally tested for metabolism, toxicity, bioavailability, and other pharmacological properties traditionally in animal, but increasingly in vitro model of assay. Successful compounds are then entered into the escalating series of clinical trial, producing systematic and extensive records, which are useful in submission for the permission to market product as a drug. So this new medical treatment based on the new biotechnology are appearing almost daily in marketplaces. These include therapeutic products such as hormones, regulatory proteins, antibodies, prenatal diagnosis of genetic disease, vaccines, immunodiagnostics of DNA probes for disease identification, and the gene therapy. This is the largest commercially developed area of new biotechnology with massive present and future market and can only be selectively. So by this from here I'm finished my talking. Hope you will understand the thing. Now I'm very thankful to you all for listening this tutorial. Thank you all. Thanks.